Looks like Tech UI is the next LR coming to Global Dokkan. But how is the community taking this? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we're doing something we haven't done in a while, and that is a community response video, right? Not usually our thing, but I was really curious, given how everything in regards to Dokkan's sync with the JP version, many people are left with certain thoughts about the arrival of certain characters at certain times. So I was curious to see what you all thought about this arrival. So I did put out this post earlier today, right, saying that we haven't done this in a while, and let us know your thoughts, no matter if you are free to play, if you're a light spender, or even if you're a big old fat whale. What are your thoughts on the arrival of Ultra Instinct Goku? So in this video, we're just going to kind of go through and we're going to read all of the responses from everybody who participated. So again, thank you. Looks like this is one of my better performing tweets, surprisingly, right? I don't usually get too much attention on Twitter, so this is kind of nice. So let's go ahead, let's start taking a look at, all right, what some of you guys have responded with. And of course, the first thing is Sleepy Edward Elric in response. So I'm guessing he is neither here nor there about that, and it looks like Rocket Luke has responded to him, right, hype as Gohan and Piccolo. So right, we all know that Vector does like himself Gohan and Piccolo. So I mean, I guess he's not excited. I'm a little confused. I guess he's not excited for UI, but I guess it's hard to get excited. So I do want to add that I'm going to try to refrain from judging any opinions shared here, right? That is not my intent with this video, right? My intent is to simply make the voices heard, right? Whether you agree, whether you disagree, right? Whether you want UI or don't, right? I'm just here to see what y'all say. I'll offer my own opinions at the very end. So moving on, we have DBC Link 2000. Love you, man. Always good chatting. We've got thinking it's very good that UI is coming. Many people are going to have stones for him. Probably not, but hey, it is what it is. Rather have him in the game now than after WWC. So I can totally understand that perspective, right? Who knows what Worldwide is going to bring? Better to have him now with his content rather than him power creeps after Worldwide. Like, for example, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? Similar thing happened to him last year, so that by the time that we here on Global got Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I mean, he wasn't the best run for the WWC content, which, I mean, in hindsight, not fun, right? But now looking at how 9th Anniversary is handled, where every unit can shine in different content, that's, you know, things are looking up for him. So who knows? Maybe the same thing could happen for UI Goku. Shadow. All right, man. What do you got to say here? So in theory, you think this is a W for Dokkan. Having Goku before he can get lost in the sync, right, is a great idea. The problem is coming off of Anniversary, where almost everybody has expended their stones. Hopefully we get a good amount of stones. Hopefully discounts to help us out. So we did do so number one, yeah, totally understand what Shadow is saying here, right? At the end of the day, this could be good, right? However, the issue here is all of us just spent whatever stones we had on the Anniversary thinking UI might be sometime in the future. And, you know, maybe we predicted wrong. Maybe it wasn't fair to say he would come later, knowing that there was always a possibility he could come in August, although it was a very unlikely possibility. It was, I would definitely say that, you know, he has a point here that lots of us did spend on Beast Gohan. So, you know, that's kind of where it's at. The comments about a good amount of stones, that's the thing that worries me, right? This, assuming we actually get the Tanabata celebration, which is going to be a lot of content crammed into like 2.5 weeks, But let's assume we get it, right? They continue on with Topo on the 12th, and it's just the whole Universal Survival Saga celebration. We're going to get around 300 to 400 stones, which is really good, but there's still tons of stones missing on global. And this is something I kind of I'll talk more about it at the end, right? When talking about getting lost in the sync, in order to prep global for meeting the sync, right? We've skipped world tournaments. We've skipped battlefields in terms of numbers, right? We are cutting, I don't want to say we're cutting content, but theoretically, we are cutting like login bonuses and missions of certain months to catch up in sync, right? The example of this is, say, Topo, right? It's not like we're going to get a double login bonus for Topo's celebration that would cover, right, the celebration for both Goku and for Topo, right? Topo's celebration is nearly gone, right? So, I mean, what does that mean, right? Maybe they do get his bonuses, but we don't get UIs, right? Since UI is technically part of the anniversary, we just get whatever's left of the anniversary, right? So you see, we're losing stones in that way, and so that's I totally get the concern about the stones, but hopefully there's discounts, right? I'm pretty sure there will be, but you know, again, I'll talk more about that at the end here. Now, hopefully this is from Mega Nice. Hopefully UI Goku is a one-time thing. I do like the unit, but it's going to be hard for some players. Not me, of course. Of course, he will be single summoning him. I firmly believe Mega Nice will pull him on a single. I've never seen him not pull a unit on a single. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, hopefully this is the only time this has happened. In theory, we will be fully synced in October. So, I mean, I think only Jiren and Roshi would have this concern for us. Roshi, not so much a big deal. They can slide him in next to another unit, right? Pull them like they did the Gammas the one year. The Roshi could be easily fixed. The only thing I'm worried about is probably Jiren. But if I had to place a bet, I mean, I hope they don't do this, but he might just be dropping as a Part 2 LR just before Worldwide. I hope not, but, you know, they've shown that they're willing to do anything. Another option, right, is, of course, that he just slots into, right, Part 2 of whatever the November celebration is, right? They could do something like that. Or, right, and hear me out, and this is going to suck, but he could go the Golden Frieza route and drop in the middle of January, where JP doesn't have anything in prep for sync, but we still have Jiren, which is the same slot as Golden Frieza and Omega from last year. It would suck. I hope they don't do that, but that's also a very nice possibility because the New Year's celebration doesn't typically have a Part 2 LR, so it could happen. Now, Nate, right, it's hella hype for sure. It brings us closer to the sync as well, but the big flaw is that for free-to-play players, this is going to be a rough one since Worldwide is literally after this, and most of us, right, so same sentiment as Shadow, right, for those free-to-play players, right, they're basically spent whatever they had on the anniversary banners, right, and whether they got in the unit or not, for some players it probably took everything they had just to get their copy of Beast Gohan. A full year of saving 1,500 stones, that's what it took to get Beast Gohan, right? Which is what most players were saving for. So, you know, could definitely understand the concern there. And if I'm being honest, I honestly think for most players, UI is gonna have to be a skip, which means people are really gonna struggle with the final stages of the Supreme Battle Spectacle whenever that decides to drop. Now, Ichigo, alright, glad to see you were able to comment this. It looks like you've got a little extra here. Yeah, okay, so Ichigo, your response to LR Tech UI, I'm curious what you have to say, because I know that's one of your favorite characters. As it's a step in the right direction, best case for the sync, and I know people are mad for not having stones, but it's kind of the only time that Global and JP are caught. It will only be a one-time thing, so that Global and JP are caught up. UI Goku is the only Dokkan Fest LR. Global is missing. They had to get it out as soon as possible. Going for Topo, Jiren, Roshi, where that would have been the wrong move. Very excited for him. Hopefully we get him if you decide to summon. I don't necessarily agree with this, but I understand, right? I totally get what Ichigo is saying here about Toppo, Jiren, or Roshi. He's also forgetting we're also missing Cell Max. Personally, I think Cell Max was the right approach, in my opinion. Having a pity banner follow it, because then it's, yellow coins aren't that necessary. But also, right, you have the pity system kind of helping you out to guide you towards a copy if you're somebody who wanted to summon on him. I think that might have been a better approach, but who knows how they decide to handle UI's banner. We may have the part 1 discounts and the point is moot, right? And it actually ends up being really good. Well, we'll have to see, but I do agree that this is probably not going to happen again, because it'll help Global and JP get caught up. So definitely really good point there, Ichigo. All right, moving on. Saladtron, locked in. Happy to see him drop soon. I'm curious. Oh yeah, 1400 stones. You are definitely locked in. All right. Okay. Chris, Dark Sun. All right, good old Dark Sun. Y'all know he's been a long-standing friend of the channel since we got started making videos. We knew the units were going to come quick. All right, UI is hype, so maybe it'll be guaranteed SSR tickets and possibly still come back in December. They could bring Toppo on the banner, 2 for added value, but free-to-play players need to decide what to do. You think they should wait for worldwide or 10-year? Okay, yeah. No, yeah, UI is hype, right? In terms of generating hype, although hype is relative, right? In terms of generating hype, if we were to continue the hype of the anniversary, it does make sense to bring him. Now, they know he's hype, and they knew Gogeta and Broly was hype. There's a good chance that, he gets the same treatment as Gogeta and Broly did in part 1 with those guaranteed featured discount steps. So, no guarantees, but hey, it's possible, right? Now, possibly coming back in December. I do think that is still on the table. I'm pretty sure Global is still going to get the Christmas banner, because that's kind of like its own thing on Global, right? So we're still going to get this near Christmas time, and it'll, right? And this is the banner will be the 20 featured banner with like, UI Goku, the previous Tanabata LRs, and all the other, I think it's like 15 other units. So I'm pretty sure we'll still get that in December, which on Global, that's going to have discounts. It's going to have super multi tickets. It's, they do it every year. It's not a big summon. But what I hope they change, adding to that, Dark Sun, is that maybe they make UI coinable at that banner, since it'll be 6 months from his return. Usually he's not available on that banner for coins due to the fact that it is, usually when that banner drops, it's like a week or 2 after the Tanabata unit drops. In this case, since we're getting him in August, right, it's possible that, 4 months from now, they do put him in the coin shop. But we'll have to see. But I do also agree that, most players should probably just hang out till worldwide or even 10-year anniversary if you're a major free-to-play player. Jumbo Shark, you think it's extremely exciting and hype, but it does come with a lot of issues, right? You're not greedy at all, but you really need to give out a lot of stones and rewards to entice people after 4 insane banners already, right? A lot of people are going to be left broke and disappointed. Yes, that's exactly what I kind of said there in the beginning, right? We just went through one of the biggest and best anniversaries we've had in a long time. To add a 5th banner to that, while it is something hype like UI Goku, over the course of the year and over the course of the rest of the year, we are losing out on stones. So hopefully they do something to add value to it in that case, right? But great point, Jumbo Shark. Rock, as a free-to-play, 9th Annie, Tanabata, worldwide, 4 months, 10th Annie. Yeah, it's rough. And November, November, when we usually get the Tanabata unit, even then, that is still pretty rough for global players. It's always this way, us having anniversary and then worldwide at the end of August, right? So we usually get a little month breather in August, and then another month breather in October, and then we get the Tanabata unit in November, followed by Heroes, right? So there is some breaks in there, but it's always pretty rough in the latter half of the year, which is why most players are typically encouraged to summon at the anniversary. And this year it's even worse, right? Because now we're going Annie, Tanabata, WWC. We're going to get Daima in October, more than likely. And then November, who knows what they're doing with Heroes. November might be a death month. I imagine that'll be the Dokkan Fest catch-up month. That would be my guess, because we would still be down 2 Dokkan Fests at that point. And then, of course, at the end of January, we will be hitting the 10th anniversary, right, as confirmed by the devs, with JP. So it's going to be a rough time for free-to-play players. I definitely don't disagree with that. Even, mid-range, low-to-play players, right? I'll kind of get more into my what I mean by that, but even those guys are going to be hurting here. The Terror, this is the most monkey paw situation in Dokkan. Yeah, I totally agree with that statement. Finally, we are close to being full sync, but now we are in a predicament. Where do the stones go? I'm thinking of not summoning on worldwide, because normally they age out faster. Again, that's, I think for most players, given the level that Beast Gohan is at, if you summoned Beast Gohan and you got him, I think you're in a safe place to just kind of ride things out until the anniversary. The worldwide units will be back on anniversary. Hopefully UI comes back in December. If he doesn't, he will be back by Saiyan Day in March. So, I mean, this is a tough one, unfortunately. So, yeah, definitely see what you're saying there, Terror. Ryan, how you doing, man? So, we are mixed on it. On the one hand, you are happy that we are avoiding the worst case scenario of not getting all the missing units, and you get how fitting a major celebration like Tanabata for the sync is easier for them to do before the sync than after it. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think we were ever in danger of missing the units. I'm sure they would have slotted them in somehow over the course of the year, right? I think they've had plenty of opportunities to fit some of these units in, and I think the biggest missed opportunity was not slotting Goku in say like April or February, right? I think that was the biggest missed opportunity for Global. Because now, right, like as Terror and Rock point out, right, we are now firing off these units in a succession that most players can't keep up with. But I totally get your point, right? Getting it out of the way, getting it done, so that way we ensure a quick and successful sync. Better to do it now than before, but I see you may have made another comment. Right. And on the other hand, fresh off Beast Gohan's banner, majority of players and all the stones down, period, before. Yeah. No, yeah. So, feeling excited and frustrated, right? Both equally valid. Yeah. Okay, totally. So, I definitely see where you're at, Ryan, right? It's, on the one hand, it's good. On the other hand, right, we do have some issues to contend with, right? So where are we next, right? GT Wedler as a free-to-play, right? You think, well, bad for you personally. It is a good thing. It shows Dokkan is willing to change to get things done. It is good to get these characters out of the way as fast as possible. Then we can go into 2025 without everything caught up. No, I agree, right? It is good to get them out of the way, totally, right? That's absolutely what we need to do. But as I had just mentioned previously when discussing Ryan's tweet, there were ways to do it that didn't require firing them off in quick succession like that. Now, I'll get more into that as I close out with everybody's stuff. But, I mean, better they realize, I definitely get what GT's saying here, right? Like, better they realize they needed to start, putting a fire under their butts and getting a move on with this instead of, just kind of pushing it off every minute like they'd been doing all year. So I mean, at least they were willing to kind of step it up and get done what needed to be get done. So yep, definitely agree with you there. Anthony Gaming, you're just glad he'll finally be on global. We had no timeline for him, so that's good. With worldwide being about a month away after anniversary, you're definitely skipping. Yep. So totally get where you're at, Anthony, right? It's nice to have confirmation, better than what they had previously told us, which was, we'll find a way, right? This is more or less what they said at the beginning of the anniversary. They'll come somehow. So nice that at the very least we now have a confirmation. Stex, honestly, huge W. Love the character. You hope you get lucky because you need to save. Being free play is not easy. Of course not, right? They overall, this is a W and an L combined, depending on if you even have stones left, but that does mean you'll be able to coin him in the future. Overall, it's 50-50. Yeah. Well, it depends on when that future is, but yes, that is correct. Hopefully the future is December during the Christmas banner and not players having to wait until March, which is realistically when most players are going to be able to get them, because I don't think many people are going to be able to summon for this guy. Lord Baby, honestly, you don't really care for him, especially with Superhero having so many buffs and really good characters to Celebration. Would have rather gotten Cellmax or Jiren because Super Bosses needs the glow. I'm with you right there. I definitely think Cellmax would have been the right call over UI Goku, but I do understand why it's UI Goku, right? But no, totally with you there. Cellmax would have definitely been a way better call. Yep. Dark, as a free-to-play, you may be asking him for a bit too much, but you want one of two things: let us coin him or change his banner, since a lot of the units. Yeah, so that is something that is worthy of note. Actually, I think I can probably pull up his banner here real quick. Hang on. Okay, so this is UI's banner, and as we can see, right, like, assume we're getting the regular banner and not the Tanabata banner, right? 3 of the major LR units on here are on Beast Gohan and Broly's banner. Actually, no, 4 of the units are on Beast Gohan and Broly's banner, right? The Blue Boys are on Broly's banner. UI Goku and Vegeta and Gobros are on Beast banner, right? So I could definitely see them swapping out the 4 LRs. I could see this, but I mean, I wouldn't get your hopes up for anything crazy, right? There's a chance that this is probably this would probably be Tech Gogeta. And then these two could be maybe the 3rd or 4th year ECAs, right? If it's an anniversary unit. I wouldn't get your hopes up. It probably not going to be anybody that's on the current banners. He will definitely stay, right? He's not going anywhere. Jiren and Blue Kaiogen are definitely staying. Now, the big kicker here that I think is going to... I think one change is all but guaranteed, and that is Frieza. Frieza came out in June on Global, so I don't think he is going to be on this banner. Global usually changes 1 or 2 Dokkan Fests if they don't really fit the timeline of a release, if they move a banner around. So being that Frieza released in June, this slot is more than likely going to be replaced with the Int androids, who have yet to return on Global. It's possible it could be Goku Black, but I do think the Int androids are probably the more likely candidate, as they released before Goku Black, as well as before Tech Vegeta. I've seen some people saying Tech Vegeta might be him. I don't think so. I think the very likely candidate is the Int androids, because they would also fit the theme of superhero. So that's very likely. So there's a couple different ways they can handle the banner. Again, they could just drop it as is, or they could drop it as is but swap out Frieza for the droids, or they could swap out Frieza and these 4 who are already on the other anniversary banners. But I do think this guy, Blue Kaioken and Jiren, are probably staying of all of them. Even the Gobros might actually stay. They don't like to get rid of these. They will put them anywhere and everywhere. They'll put them on non-Dokkan Vest banners if they can, I swear. So I would definitely not get hopes up for that. But there's a couple ways they could tackle it. Now, As far as coining them, yeah, probably not going to happen until December. So El Boni, you hate that they put after the anniversary. Probably not going to be able to summon and skip worldwide. Be seen for a new UI Goku since 7th anniversary. So, okay, so you're going to summon UI and skip worldwide. Totally understandable, right? Worldwide will be back in 3 months, or 4 months rather, during anniversary when it is shared in February. So totally get it. Cats are peak. You think that it might be too much. We get him on the 5th and Topo on the 12th, worldwide on the 26th, and then likely Jiren and Roshi all in that bit too. Short time as a Dolphin. Yeah, so Dolphin players definitely going to have a rough go of this, if for sure. Whales unaffected. They're going to whale no matter what. It doesn't matter when, right? So yeah, this is going to be tough for Dolphin players. Now, as far as Jiren and Roshi, I think it's unlikely that they're going to drop in that period. But then again, I thought it was unlikely that UI would drop, so I don't know. We'll have to see on that one. But yeah, I do agree that it is a bit much. Ali, all right, free to play, but you don't think it's that bad. You don't have to summon on him. His celebration will give out free tickets, lots of stones, probably discounts on the banner, right? So yeah, I mean, hopefully it does. I do hope that we get the discounts. We do have 7 rainbow tickets extra. It's possible they could be used on that banner. The stones, again, we are assuming we're getting the celebration stones, but we don't yet know. It could just be a little tag thing on the anniversary, but we will see. I'm with you. I'm hoping we get all of these things, so that way at least free-to-play players have a chance, right? And again, yeah, you don't have to summon. For most players, this is probably a big skip. All right, I am based, right? As a JP player, you think if Global is low on stones, they don't need him. They should skip and save for Worldwide or 10th Annie, right? You don't have LR Tech UI, you have AGL Jiren, and if you didn't read, Tech UI is more than enough for a friend Tech UI. Okay, Global players don't need to feel pressured to summon this, just the personal opinion. Yeah, so again, if you've gotten Beast Gohan for Anniversary, UI isn't necessarily required for the new content, although he makes it significantly easier, right? Almost all the new content cancels dodge. The main thing about UI is his domain effect removes that canceling. So while not required, he certainly makes it significantly more bearable and easier. And then plus, he himself is incredible. Once he's transformed, right? He makes the stages so much more easy to deal with. So but yeah, as free-to-play players, you're gonna have to make a decision. Do you try to summon, or do you just continue to save for Worldwide and 10th Annie? So totally get where you're coming from. Benny, you think more transparency on the banners would be nice. You do spend, but you don't have that account. Yeah, totally get it. You went 1k for a Beast dupe when you knew to get Beast dupe. If you knew UI would coming, you wouldn't have done that. Yeah, exactly, right? And this is what I keep saying. The whales, it's not going to matter. They were going to whale no matter when this happened. People like Benny here, definitely greatly affected by this, right? Because now they don't have that option because they chose to go on for Beast. Now, I will say this, just like they didn't talk about Beast at all in part 1 of the anniversary reveal, they tend to not, because they want you to focus on what's in front of you, right? That's just typical gacha fashion. Fecto Stylus, you warned everybody that he was coming and only ticket the Beast, but they didn't believe me. Now you have stones for Beast. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of a bit condescending. Look, we all knew he was coming. Coming in August was the least likely outcome, in my opinion, being that it was the in my opinion, it is the worst thing for player, and I still think it's not good for them, but I will, I'll talk more about that at the end. Heart Striker, having UI on Global is great. How this was all planned out to be placed in between 9th Anniversary Part 2 and WDC is objectively bad for a good amount of the player base. All this messes up the enjoyability of the game for people who are free to play or who can't spend. Yep, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, right? It's like, while it is good to get them out of the way, objectively, right, this is going to hurt more players than it helps, right? Caesar, you've been free to play ever since getting shafted on Vegeta and Trunks, all right, and now you're going to come back for 750, because 750 on UI is enough. Yeah, no, I mean, I totally get it. So, and that's the position that a lot of people are being put in right now, in which, you know, I so totally get where you're coming from. Piccolo Daimao, global players are stones are deep in agony right now, no problem with it. Though it is helping the sync. Yeah, so I mean, that's right at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? It's helping the sync, but at what cost, right? All right, let's see, is there anything? Sometimes it acknowledges spams, right? Okay, yeah, here, Origin. You think it's probably the smartest thing for global and could be done besides having it be at the same time as JP. Anything else brings unification. Closer is a massive W. I totally understand that sentiment, right? Get us there. But again, as I said, right, sync at all costs. I don't necessarily know if that's the right call for the majority of players. So I think we did get one more response. I did put it out on Discord. So yeah, let's switch this over here. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, we got let's see. Here we go. All right, old school gamer Angel. Personally, the producer letter was okay. There were final phase of the sync, beginning for UI sign. Personally, if Beast isn't on the banner, you won't summon. If 2 times SSR rates or discounts, only summon 3 times for the DFE coins. But if I don't get Beast and Worldwide, will probably be the greatest celebration for Global. That will be the first celebration. Who knows what we'll get? So many Dragon Stones. Unless I have heard wrong, I sort of knew we were going to use UI because of the EZA, which was an obvious clue. Yeah, I mean, as soon as we saw the EZAs, it became incredibly obvious. But, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's not... it's not the greatest thing in the world for us, but I mean, the moment we saw those EZAs, we kind of knew that that's what was going to happen. So, yeah, totally get it there. But I think that was the only other response on Global that wasn't on, or on Discord that wasn't already on Twitter. So, I mean, that's pretty much everybody. I think we got to everybody. Again, I told you the main focus of this video was kind of just to respond to each person's comments and, you know, make the voices heard. No judgment from here. I completely understand everybody's perspective here, right? Like, you know, some people don't have a problem with it, and that's okay, right? And some people, like myself, I think it was handled very poorly. So I'm going to kind of get into my thoughts here, I know. So if you did stick around to the end for all of this, thank you. But, you know, it's been quite a long video. But, you know, I'm glad you guys took the time. This, like I said, this is one of my better performing video tweets. I'm glad a lot of you guys wanted to engage here. So, again, personal opinion on the matter. There were many, many opportunities throughout the year to do this that didn't involve forcing it in between the 2 major celebrations of the year, right? Think back to January to April timeframe on Global. It's probably the driest period on Global we've ever had, right? The celebrations were short. They didn't have much. Most of it was fluff. There was no new hard events. We were stuck with Merge Zamos as a difficult event for nearly 8 months, right? Imagine while JP was celebrating anniversary, instead of dropping the int androids, they dropped UI Goku here as a global first. Maybe February is too soon. What if instead of us not sharing New Year's, right, we actually shared Goku and Hirudegarn, and then they moved Trunks to February, and, you know, or keep the androids in February, and then put Trunks in the April time slot, like Yamcha or something, right? and then put or I'm sorry, rather put Trunks in like June or something, right? Like however it works, right? Move any one of them to June, or actually Trunks actually would have been good right before Saiyan Day, right? Because of Vegeta, right? So, and he would have got immediate buffs, right, from Vegeta following that, right? So imagine that was the case, right? In March, right before Saiyan Day, we get Trunks. Gohan and Piccolo can be in June. This guy releases in April instead of the dual Dokkan Fest of Hirudegarn and Goku, right? That would have been much more easier to bear, right? Because then now all you have to do for global is just slide in Cell Max and then Jiren, who's probably going to come at the end of the year anyways, and then Roshi. That's it. It is much easier to slide in regular DFEs than it is to slide in a big character like this. And the result is, as we see here, he is being slid into the tail end of the anniversary when almost no one has any stones left over because everybody, and rightfully so, went after Beast Gohan, right? Nobody was wrong for doing that, right? It was the smart play. Even now, right? It's probably still better than going after this guy here. So, I mean, it is rough in that way. There were ways that it could have been handled much better. Now, what this does is, right, it, in my opinion, is this forces the banner to underperform. Right, Tanabata typically doesn't perform as well as other banners throughout the year. This means it's going to be even worse, right? Because, like a lot of people mentioned in the comments, whale's going to wail no matter what, no matter when, right? It doesn't matter, right? That they're not a factor in that. Where most of it's going to come from is the dolphins, the people who might jump in on it, right? You're going, I mean, they're probably going to say no here, more than likely, which means, you know, that's going to be less that the banner performs. So I don't see how it really benefited anybody than just waiting until November and then, or doing it early, right? And then trying to slot in the regular DFEs throughout the year. Like, I think it would have been much better for players to just have Roshi, Toppo, and Jiren in quick succession during August than it would be to slide in a major LR such as UI Goku here, right? Because, you know, most DFEs, unless you have the specific teams and setups for him, most DFEs, most people skip anyways and just get them as they kind of slide in through, right? Cell Max would have Pity, so that makes him a little more safe to summon on. And also he's far more useful, I would say, for a team like Super Bosses than UI is to superheroes, right? Superheroes can exist without UI. Super Bosses can't exist without Cell Max, right? So, I mean, it's kind of, yeah. And that's just where I'm at with it. I think all opinions are valid, right? If you think UI coming in is good, then yeah, I totally get it, right? Getting the sync here is, at the end of the day, is what we want, right? So even if it means some hardship along the way. But if you, like me, are also upset, I also get it, right? I mean, there's, you know, there's really no wrong opinion on this, and you know, personally, that's just my thoughts. So, guys, that is it for the video. That is the community response to the release of UI Goku. It seems like the general reception is positive, even if it's not the best decision, right? Most people are at least happy that he's here, and we at least know that he's not getting lost in the sauce somewhere. So, you know, we can take that as the W that it is. So that's it for the video, guys. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, hey, if you didn't join in on the Twitter conversation, let us know your thoughts here in the comments on this video. What are your thoughts on the release of UI Goku coming here in probably the next couple of days, right? We should have a data download here soon, confirming exactly when the time is. So let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.